Well, hello, folks. I'm going to do a quickie. I hope it's quick. I hope I don't go on and on. I just made a really long video I'm editing now. It's quite long. It's called, what is it? Shamanistic Spirituality. Sorry. Shamanistic Spirituality, Elitist and Elitist Jerks. So anyway, yeah, it's something I was getting off my chest, but I think you might find it interesting. Anyway, I'm also launching a new series that I'm going to do on my blog and here called OTR on the Radar. So what I'm going to do there is take some articles and books and things that I'm paying attention to and do a brief breakdown outline of what they are and put up these deep dive AI-generated podcasts. So you can listen to it if you want to, or read about it. And it'll be short, so you can just have a look at it and get an idea of what it is, and then, go about your day without having to listen to somebody all day long or read a long book. Another OTR is Navigating the Polycrisis. And I'm going to do another one today. So there'll be a few of those coming your way. The other thing I wanted to say is in this long video, I say you a lot, like you this and you that and you the other thing. And I don't mean you. I'm not talking down to you. I'm not condescending you. I don't mean to insult anybody. I should use the royal we. So I'm using the royal you as in you all, as in the general populace or people that I imagine I'm arguing with down at the pub or something like that. So often when I'm talking to the camera, I'm thinking about these conversations I've had with friends out and about where it's obvious they haven't been paying attention to what I pay attention to. So we're not on a different page, we're in a different library. And so what I talk about might seem kind of strange to them, and we're trying to help each other understand where we're coming from. What they have to say may be strange to me, or it may be boring. It's like, oh dear God, this guy's parroting Fox News, oh my God. Well, if you want to have a conversation with somebody, you can't just, treat them like they're idiots because they get their information from Fox News. Everybody's smart. Everybody's intelligent. We're human beings. We're intelligent, conscious animals. And we all have our thoughts, ideas, and feelings. And we're capable of communication and expressing ourselves and doing things. We have agency, we're responsible, we make a living and all that kind of stuff. So what we believe in or what we think we know is very important to all of us. And so I don't want anybody to get the idea that I'm talking down to you, because I'm nobody. I wake up every morning with imposter syndrome. And that's kind of a weird syndrome to have when you don't have an audience and you're nobody. So who am I an imposter to other than myself? I wake up thinking, I don't have credentials. I'm not an academic. I haven't spent 30 years in a domain diligently studying and working to uncover the truth or invent something new or whatever, become a billionaire. So who am I an imposter to? Well, am I epistemically humble or something? Do I have some kinds of admirable traits? No, I'm not a guru. I'm not special. I'm focusing on certain things, and I'm wondering all the time why people don't get it. So what I'm focusing on, like why aren't they interested in what I'm interested in? I think that's a pretty common feeling that people have. And you see that things seem a little out of whack, and you're wondering why people don't understand stuff. So I delved into the right wing and the left wing and the this and the that. I read about this and I read about that. Like I said, reading doesn't make me holy or special. I'm just trying to figure things out. I want to understand why people do the things they do and why they behave the way they behave and so on. And when I see things that seem totally crazy and irrational and mad, I want to find out the rationality or the reasons or the logic behind it, even if they're bad reasons and bad logic, because they're prevalent and they have a profound impact on the world. So that's why I'm curious, and that's why I ask questions, and that's why I look into things. It doesn't make me special. I'm nobody. I'm not a big shot. I don't have a huge audience and all that kind of thing, as you well know. And I don't want to be a big shot. What I want to do is maybe inspire one or two people to look into things a little more deeply, because we're going to need hundreds of millions of people looking at the world in a different way if we're going to survive the polycrisis. That's what I know is true from my own research. And I think I'm interested in it. I'm interested in collapse. I'm interested in sustainability. I'm interested in life. I'm interested in humanity, human beings, all these things. And because I'm interested, I can't look away. I have to delve into it and figure it out. So I wish I was interested in something else, like, being the top insurance salesman, getting a plaque on the wall or something, but I'm not. I'm interested in what I'm interested in, so I pay attention to what I pay attention to, and I think, well, I really don't know anything about any of this stuff. I'm just, reading other people's work, trying to understand what they've found out, what they've discovered, what they're articulating, and so on, and then see if it adds to my understanding of the world, because I want to know more about how things work. And then I want to share it. I feel compelled to share it. Why? Why me? Why should I bother sharing? It seems kind of absurd and stupid, actually. So, every time I do this, I think I'm kind of an idiot talking to myself on camera. And I have that imposter syndrome, like, who the hell do I think I am? But I'm not a guru. I'm not one of these people who are extremely arrogant and telling you that they have a theory of everything, or they understand everything, and if you only believe what I believe, everything's going to be perfect, There are a lot of people like that out there, and they tend to annoy the hell out of me. I look into them as well, because you can't look away. It's like turning on an evangelical Christian TV show in a motel room and finding that you're watching it for 15 minutes. It's spellbinding. The preachers have talent. They have good rhetorical skills. They're good public speakers. They have some charisma and whatever. And you're thinking, wow, man, people really take this stuff seriously. Well, I wonder why that is. And so you can't turn away. So you watch these charlatans on YouTube or whatever, because to me, they're a spectacle, watching the con man work, watching the incredibly hubristic, deluded person at work, and how they gain such a following by just telling people what they want to believe. So I listened to Professor Dave the other day, and at the end of one of his videos, he sums it up really perfectly. So I'll make a clip of that. And
they must be the smartest person alive. Should we worship them? Should we send them on Joe Rogan and Lex Fridman and the 1,000 other wannabe clones trying to cash in? Look at this one. This guy's even smarter than the other one. I don't understand a word of this. Which podcast should they go on? This is what irks me. You could take any scientist in the entire world, put them in front of Joe Rogan, have them explain their research, and it should get the same effect. But it won't. Do you know why? because any typical scientist would not present themselves as a genius that everyone has to listen to, nor would they inject their research with any more relevance or profundity than it deserves. Now, some definitely would, of course. There are arrogant scientists. I'm talking about the average scientist. They don't use manipulative rhetoric, so people would not latch on to them irrationally, which is why such people don't get invited on those podcasts, because those podcasts are in the business of sensationalism, not knowledge. These people have absolutely nothing to offer society beyond smoke and mirrors. Just listen.
If I had some complex stuff in memory and a bar fight happened, and I had to go indulge in some physical violence, that usually my memory was erased when I get done with the fight. I mean, it would be gone. Irretrievable. One time I was thinking about artificial intelligence, then that evolved into a whole new way of looking at neural networks. Suddenly this horrible fight erupted. I set the page down and I mopped up the fight, and I came back over and my piece of paper was gone.
That's right. Chris was going to revolutionize neural networks, but gosh gee whiz, he couldn't remember what he wrote down. Kind of like Eric Weinstein and his Sheob operator that he wrote in his notes in college, but whoopsie, he can't remember what it was now. It's always the same. These people have absolutely nothing to point to in order to demonstrate their alleged brilliance. Nothing. They don't invent anything. They don't build anything. They don't do anything. All they do is tell stories and talk.
Everyone goes, Eric Weinstein's a genie. Does anyone know why? What? Is there anything they've done? No, truly, because all they do is talk. Is there anything they've built? Is there one appliance that they have anything to do with? Have they come up with something even like the Rotato, which peels and slices a potato as you could? Like, is there one thing any of them have done except whack off Elon Musk and talk?
This rant from comedian Tim Dillon perfectly encapsulates what I'm saying here, and he happens to be saying it about Eric Weinstein, but he could be talking about any of these jerks since they're all from the same mold. Remember how this conversation was supposed to be about CTMU, the incredible theory of everything? They talked about it for like 10 minutes, and Chris didn't present anything. It was just sound bites. These types of figures are geniuses in their own mind and their own word alone. I just can't understand how people can't see right through them. But then again, I'm not susceptible to bullshit rhetoric like this.
Colleges and universities purport to be harnessing intelligence for tentative moves forward, but they're not really allowed to do anything too radical.
Always, 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 it's this anti-academia bullshit. Not allowed to do anything radical? Says who? Who is stopping anyone? Someone goes to college to get educated and then goes into the private sector and starts their own business developing some incredible new technology? Who is stopping them? Where is this shadow academia Gestapo forcing people to use their knowledge in only certain establishment-approved ways? Who is preventing people from taking their actual legitimate knowledge and developing actual lucrative applications that will matter in society? And why would any capitalistic enterprise be trying to squash that?
Somebody rising to the top from the bottom, shall we say.
That's right. Once again, the establishment is failing. It's a sinking ship, and yet somehow they have too much to lose by deviating, which isn't even logically consistent. This is Wal Thornhill in the Electric Universe. This is James Tour in Origin of Life Research. This is Eric Weinstein in Theoretical Physics. Countless examples, always the same intent. A devaluing of everything established to promote something that is invalid at face value. It's about tearing down existing human knowledge to put it on even footing with their complete ignorance. Chris, everybody rises to the top from the bottom. No one is born an accomplished scientist or philosopher. They learn and work and become that person. And there are no shortcuts despite what any internet guru will promise.
Could it be you?
Who knows? It could be you.
It could be me? Really? Wow, thank you, Internet Guru. I will follow you and subscribe to your newsletter. What will be our first order of business?
Well, one of the first things that I would do is I would institute something like the Manhattan Project for a safe, long-lasting means of birth control. Simply implant that in all children at age 10. They're being saddled with the results of what we do.
Yeah, you heard right. He is a proponent of eugenics. Doesn't seem so harmless anymore, now does it? Nevertheless, getting away from Chris for a moment, let's examine how this specific brand of rhetoric is used on a broader stage. People who are disgruntled due to economic disparity will fall for demagogues. Hitler rose out of the Great Depression. Trump came to power in the wake of the 2008 recession. This playbook is centered around an attempt to take civil unrest due to economic issues and use it to manufacture political power. Most people know they're getting screwed, but they have no idea how or what to do about it, so they listen to the loud man who pretends to have answers to precisely these questions. But these answers are always a distraction from the real issues. It's never their own greed or the institutions they serve, but rather immigrants or woke Marxists suppressing free speech. It's whatever boogeyman they can conjure to distract the masses from the economic issues that are truly to blame. They will manufacture some kind of grand ideological battle when it's really just deregulation implemented by most of the presidents of the past 50 years, in both parties, from Reagan to Clinton and all the rest. The current epistemological breakdown we are experiencing in this post-truth era is a problem that can't possibly be overstated. People have no idea who to trust, and they are making the wrong decisions in enormous numbers. I promise I'll keep it short this time since it always comes back to this, but if we don't figure out how to help people feel motivated and inspired to gather basic knowledge for themselves so they can avoid falling for these kinds of internet gurus, and if we don't try and steer the media landscape towards highlighting actual educated and knowledgeable people, we are absolutely doomed as a species. Because when the shit really hits the fan and we are faced with a real existential problem, it's not going to be some jerk like Chris Langan who gets us out of it. I can promise you that. So that's it for Chris Langan, another in a long line of pseudo-intellectual clones we absolutely don't need and who hopefully will fade into obscurity very quickly. But the factory's cranking these guys out faster than sweatshops can make new iPhones, so I'll see you next time for whichever fraud I have to cover next.
I won't go on anymore, but I just want you to know, I know I'm an idiot, okay? I just want to share this stuff because I pay attention to it, I think for good reasons, and I think it's really interesting stuff. So I'm going to do this on the radar thing, very short blog posts, and I'll make a video about that. Just to kind of share like I would on Globe Hackers' Facebook page what I'm looking at, but maybe in a more brief form, because I noticed that on social media in general, most people just look at headlines, or they want to look at just, you know, simple things that they can comprehend and scroll through very quickly, react to funny stuff, you know, pictures and one-liners and quotes and whatnot. Or they can emotionally react to, like, oh, I love Trump, and then they can tell you you're an asshole or something, whatever it is. And they don't really look at the body of work, so to speak. In my case, the body of work would be the stuff I shared, the last 5 posts that actually have a theme to them. And if you read 1 or 2 of the articles, you'd probably, I think, get something meaningful and important from looking at it. So as a curator, I'm suggesting you look at something, but nobody does. No one ever does. So maybe if I do something really brief and easily digestible, people will have a look at it. Because I wouldn't share if I didn't want people to have a look at it. And no, I'm not Einstein. And, you know, Einstein died with his work unfinished. He didn't sort the unified theory. And Marx died before Marxism was a thing, and before communism was a thing, or socialism was a real thing. All these projects are unfinished. Jesus died, and he's supposed to come back now and finish the project. King Arthur, you know, Frodo, any real or imagined hero who created something through his or her experiences with other people's work, finally came up with some original idea or thing that they invented or whatever. The iterations continue on that work. The derivatives continue on that work. And more things are created. So am I a creator? I don't know. Maybe not. Sometimes I think I'm creating something when I'm writing, but maybe it's just kind of a derivative process. But the process is important. The practice is important. So yeah, I'm losing my train of, everything's unfinished, it goes on. I don't know the limits of the human imagination. Okay, so my memory card was full. So anyway, the process continues, and the idea is to learn more, understand things better, and share that understanding with people. That's why I have my links page on my website. That's why I have my book page on the website. We're going to need armies of people understanding reality if things are going to get better for people. Of course, like I always say, if things are already really good for you, then they're really good. Our addictions feel good, and I get that, and it's kind of insane to want things to be different when things are already pretty damn good. So yeah, you can be nuts. Anyway, that's the purpose of it all, and yeah, if you want to hang out with this pretender, it might be fun. Okay, talk to you later. William T. out.